So today, we're opening up the People Playbook. We're going to tackle that one variable that can make or break, well, any business strategy, any project, any brilliant idea you have, the human element. Let's dive in and see if we can decode it together.
I mean, really think about it. You can have the most perfect plan, the best tech, all the resources in the world, but if you don't get the people part right, you're basically flying blind. Every single person on your team is running on their own totally unique operating system. And the real key to great management, it's learning how to read that code.
So in this explainer, we're going to build your Essential Manager's Toolkit. First up, we'll hand you a people decoder to really get the who. Then, we're going to show you how to clear the workplace fog the perception creates. After that, we'll fire up the motivation engine, and finally, we'll help you pack your very own career readiness kit for your own growth. All right, first up, the people decoder. Look, before you can manage anyone effectively, you have to get the fundamentals of what makes them tick. This is all about understanding their internal wiring. And it all starts with personality. Now, this isn't about some fluffy stuff. In management science, personality means the stable, pretty consistent traits that make a person who they are. You can think of it as their default setting, the foundation of how they're probably going to behave at work. So how do you even map something like that? Well, a fantastic tool is the Big Five model. It breaks personality down into 5 core dimensions. Extroversion, where you get your energy from. Agreeableness, how cooperative you are. Conscientiousness, how organized and dependable you tend to be. Emotional stability, your ability to handle stress. And openness, how curious and creative you are. Just understanding where your team members fall on these different scales is like a managerial superpower. For example, if you know someone is super high in conscientiousness, you can probably trust them with those detail-heavy deadline-driven projects. And that person who's high in openness, they might be your go-to for brainstorming some wild new ideas. And hey, let's quickly clear something up. The difference between values and attitudes. Your values are those big core principles that guide you everywhere. Think a personal belief in teamwork. Attitudes, on the other hand, are your feelings about specific things. So your value might be teamwork, but your attitude toward that clunky new messaging app could be super negative, precisely because it makes teamwork harder. See the difference? It helps you figure out if a complaint is just about a tool or if it's hitting a deeper nerve. Okay, on to tool number 2. We've looked at the person's internal wiring. Now we got to look at our own. This section is all about perception, because let's be real, how we interpret reality is often way more powerful than reality itself. Let's talk about how this fog rolls in. So I'll ask you straight up, are you seeing things clearly? Because the honest truth is, none of us are. Not really. Our brains are built to take shortcuts to make sense of the world. And these shortcuts can create a really thick fog that totally distorts how we see our coworkers' performance and their potential. And here are 5 of the most common glitches in our mental software. I mean, we all know about things like stereotyping and implicit bias. But what about the halo effect? Oh, this one is sneaky. It's when one single positive trait, let's say an employee is an amazing public speaker, makes you subconsciously assume they're great at everything else, like, I don't know, super detailed data analysis. It casts this halo that can totally blind you to what's really going on. And this leads us to one of the most powerful and honestly kind of dangerous forces in management, the self-fulfilling prophecy. You might have heard it called the Pygmalion effect. The idea is simple, but wow, it's profound. What you expect from people is very often what you get. If you believe a team member is a star, you treat them like one. You give them challenges, you support them, and they rise to the occasion. The flip side, of course, is also true. Your expectations literally help shape their reality. So we can decode our people, and we're aware of the fog of perception. It's time for tool number 3, the motivation engine. This is where we take all that understanding and turn it into actual, tangible performance. Let's start with a really clear definition. Motivation isn't just wanting to do something. It's the entire psychological engine that fires up, steers, and keeps our behavior going toward a specific goal. It's the why behind the what. And at its very core, that engine runs on a simple 4-part cycle. It all starts with an unfulfilled need, say the need for recognition. That spark creates motivation, which drives you to do something, like stay late to nail a presentation. If that leads to a reward, like your boss giving you a shout out, that reward acts as feedback. It satisfies the original need and gets the engine ready for the next go-around. Now, the experts tend to look at this whole motivation engine from 2 main angles. You've got content theories, which focus on the fuel, the what. They ask, what are the core needs that drive all people, like achievement or belonging? Then you have process theories, which look at the engine's mechanics, the how. They dig into the thought processes we go through when deciding whether to even bother putting in the effort. It's all about how an employee weighs the odds and decides if working late is actually worth it. So here's the kicker. Motivation isn't just some feeling people have inside them. You can actually engineer it into the job itself. The job characteristics model shows us exactly how. Does the job use a bunch of different skills? Does the employee get to see a task through from start to finish? Do they get why their work matters? Do they have some freedom in how they do it? And do they get clear feedback? The more you can answer yes to those questions, the more motivating the job itself is going to be. All right, for our final section, we're going to turn the lens around. We've been building tools to manage other people. Now let's pack a kit for managing the most important person on your team, you. Keeping a positive approach, especially when things get stressful, isn't some kind of magic trick. It's a really simple two-step process. First, you need some brutal self-awareness. What are your go-to negative behaviors on a really bad day? Do you clam up? Get a little snappy? Step 2, you consciously decide on the good attitude behaviors you're going to use instead, like actively listening or jumping in to offer help. It's all about replacing a knee-jerk reaction with a thought-out response. A huge piece of this puzzle is emotional intelligence, your ability to notice your own feelings and then use that information to guide what you do next. And you can totally build this skill. You just have to know what sets you off. Practice controlling your response instead of just, well, reacting. Learn to channel that emotional energy into something productive. And try practicing mindfulness to create a little bit of space between a feeling and an action. And finally, here's the master tool in your personal kit. A process for self-motivation. It's a 6-step plan that seriously works for any big goal. Start with just one, wildly important long-term goal. Then break it down into smaller, bite-sized goals. Turn those into a prioritized to-do list, put it on a schedule, and then you just work the plan. And please, don't forget that last part. Reward yourself. That's the feedback loop that keeps your own engine running at full tilt. And that really brings us full circle, doesn't it? Because whether you're managing a team of 100 or just managing yourself, success always comes back to this one simple truth. The numbers, the plans, the strategies, they're just tools. The real work, the ultimate challenge, is and always will be understanding people. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. With this new toolkit in your hands, what is the one single thing you will do differently tomorrow to better understand the people you work with? Because that right there, that's where the playbook stops being theory and becomes reality.